KWT slaying.
Salama family, salama. How y'all doing on this Shabbat? Shabbat shalom to everybody. Shabbat shalom. I know y'all wondering why Yakoba got another video out after yesterday. that's how rough it is. It's rough. It's rough out there. Dangerous times for sure. I know it's doom and gloom stuff, but at the end of a storm is beautiful clouds and sun, right? But remember, I told you all that I believe, and as I said, eat the meat, spit out the bone, just my viewpoint on things. And it's going to take you some spiritual insight to see what's happening. I don't think it's that hard to see, to be honest with you, but some people might have difficulty seeing it. But I believe it's all scripted. That doesn't mean things not going to happen and, millions and millions not going to perish, right? But I believe it's part of a script. And so, I'm gonna start off with this. I mean, we talk about this all the time, and the war and all these things. But let's look at it. All right.
Prepper here, my friends. We are on borrowed time, so I would encourage you to live life and love life because it indeed is fleeting. As we descend upon the inevitable convergence of all things SHTF right now, and it's all going to intersect at the exact same point in time. I do believe I'm talking about global conflict. I'm talking about economic catastrophe. I'm talking about new contagions, climate catastrophe, dystopian governments, artificially induced human obsolescence, robot wars, the whole 9 yards. It's all just going to converge at the same point in time, and we're quickly approaching that point in time. What we need to talk about today is everything under the sun, this unprecedented level of military maneuver that is happening around the world right now is a cause for concern because we are about to enter an escalatory death spiral, I do believe. Because understand one thing before I go over what we're going to talk about today, that there is no such thing as military exercises in the modern day. It's all just to disguise what could potentially be interpreted as an adversary as a military offensive. So repeat after me. There are no military exercises, only World War III disguises. I say again, there are no military exercises, only World War III disguises.
All right. So y'all heard them. There are no military exercises. There's only World War III disguises, and I contend that all of this is scripted. All of it is for show. All of it is to fulfill the agenda of Satan. And the Bible says that the whole world worship the beast. Why does the whole world worship the beast? Because, most of the world, they deny the scriptures. They don't obey the word. So they caught up in deception. And the deception is real. It's strong. It's a strong delusion.
And all of that creates a lot of anger for people saying, we don't like the way this old global order is functioning. 3 big geopolitical challenges, all misaligned with our institutions and our architecture, and all creating crises. Now, the good news, I promise you good news, right to start, is that those crises create the seeds of a new order. They lead to the reform and strengthening of institutions that were eroding, or if they are inadequate, they lead to the creation of new institutions. But to get from here to there is messy. It's uncomfortable, and it can have a lot of conflict.
So here he was talking about the old concept of the Hegelian dialectic, which is order out of chaos. Now, there's a group of people who are involved in these deceptions and in this particular maneuvering to implement the New World Order. Now, you know, the New World Order has always existed, but it is a new world order. So as he stated, they create the chaos so that they can bring in the order. What is the order? The order is going to be supposed peace, right? The supposed order is going to be where mankind doesn't have to work. Can we say the Great Reset? The order is going to be where every man's thoughts and actions are controlled through AI and technology. So you're going to have this false utopia of slavery. But here's the thing. And you're going to notice something. You're going to notice that 99% of the people, 99% are non-melanated. 99% of those who serving Lucifer are non-melanated. There's a small percentage of Israelites who are involved with it. A small percentage of Israelites who are Luciferians. But 99% are non-melanated. So why do they need to do this? Why do they need to create this world order and all of these nations coming together for the grand deception, and all of the nations were together for the lollipop? It's because of this conspiracy here. Psalm 83, keep not thou silence, O Yah, hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yah. For lo, thy enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. We all know this scripture. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. For they have consulted together with one consent. They have confederated against thee the tabernacles of Edom, Esau, and Ishmaelites, and Moab. You're going to see some of these people involved, right? And the Hagarenes, Gebal and Ammon and Amalek and the Philistines with the inhabitants of Tyre. Ashur also is joined with them. They have opened the children of Lot, Selah. All right. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin at the brook of Kishon, which perished at Endor. They became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Oreb and like Zeb, yea, all their princes as Zebah and as Zalmunna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of God in possession. So let's take the houses of God into slavery. So these were all the nations involved with our slavery. Now, we don't know exactly who some of these nations are. We have ideas. We know that a lot of the Roman people are Edom, descendants of Esau. They're not the only ones who descendants of Esau, but we know that Rome is descendants of Zepho. All right. So this Psalm 83, in my opinion, are the same people involved today with the New World Order. They're the same people who was involved with our scattering, right? That enslaved us and sent us around the world as captives. So if you look at the dystopian movies, a lot of these movies have what? 99% non-melanated and 1% melanated. I guess they figure they can't get rid of everybody, right? So the thing is this, there's the Psalm 83 conspiracy to enslave Israel and to take our possession and our inheritance. This is what it's all about. And they have aligned themselves with Satan. Now, what is this going to look like? What is this utopia after the destruction of the world or the old world order?
Last week, the Great Reset. You will own nothing and you will be happy. Why do we keep hearing this phrase? What is going on at this Davos? Why are these billionaires getting together? And after making one video about the Great Reset, we've decided to dive a little bit deeper into what you think and further evidence and your legitimate concerns.
It's time to look at the big picture and work collectively. That's the message from day one of Business Bonanza, the Davos Agenda. This year's World Economic Forum has moved online because COVID. Davos this year cannot be the usual networking fest it's built its reputation on.
Davos regulars like Angela Merkel and Bill Gates will check in from around the world, as well as Vladimir Putin, Prime Ministers of India, Japan, Spain, Greece, Israel, Singapore, Presidents of France, Korea, Argentina, South Africa, Secretary General of the United Nations, Director General of the World Health Organization, Governor of the Bank of England, Secretary General of Interpol. The agenda has been shaped by the pandemic and organized around the Great Reset.
So the Great Reset, what is the Great Reset? We talked about the Great Reset before. With the Great Reset, you're going to be happy and you will own nothing, right? It is going to be, quote unquote, a utopia. A utopia brought about by technology, a utopia brought about by the scientific community, right? A utopia brought about by the major corporations of the world, a utopia brought about by the major religions of the world. Now, mind you, as I said, 99% non-melanated, 1% melanated. Now, it all sounds good to the flesh. It sounds good to those who don't know the scriptures. It sounds good to those who are worldly. It sounds good to those people who have pronoun issues, right? It sounds good to these people who are caught up in darkness. Why? Because they have no light. So to them, it looks good. We're all the same. We're all equal. You don't have to work no more. You don't have to pay taxes. You're going to be taken care of by the global state, and the global state will meet all your needs so long as you do everything we say. So long as you fall in line with our will, so long as you fall in line with the talking points of today's media, it is going to be a utopia for those who don't know Yah. Now, those who know Yah, you're going to be kicked out the system. You won't be able to buy, trade, or sell unless you have to mark his name or a number of his name. This is a Luciferic world order system, and they know it. It's not like they're building a system and they don't know that they're building a satanic system. No, they know this is a Luciferic system. They know that they're fighting against Yah. They know that they're fighting against Negroes. They know that they're fighting against Israelites, because Israelites have the promises of rulership. So they then align themselves with the fallen. But the fallen goes by a different name. They go by a different name right now. They're called aliens.
By those responsible for implementing the plans of the universal supermind. People's lives seems like a fairy tale at first, with the aliens solving global problems in a short period of time. No more wars, hunger, and poverty. However, having received everything they could dream of, mankind does not even think about the price of such charity, and in the end, the payback time comes. There is one man left on Earth, Milo Roderick, who sits on a couch in the middle of a ruined
Notice
city.
it's the
And then
Israelite
there
who
are shots of
survived.
trash, smoking pipes, melting glaciers, and people dying of hunger and disease. New York City, 2016. A kid in a wheelchair, Milo, draws spaceships. At this time, a small plane flies over Ricky Stormgrand's farm before suddenly hovering in the air and slowly sinking into the corn. All the people on Earth lose communication. Right in the middle of the city, the airliner gently lowers and lands. And over the main cities of the world, a huge flying ship hovering over the people, scaring them. TV goes on, reports of all the troops of the world being put on alert, causing panic, and the media mogul Wainwright suggests a takeover of the planet. But no one tries to make contact with the humans on Earth. Suddenly, a deceased loved one appears to each person and, introducing himself by the Karelian name, announces that the purpose of his arrival is to help humanity. They have come a long way to make people forget about wars, famine, and inequality. And the process of humanity's golden age has already begun. Listening to this address, Wainwright gives the newcomers a name, Overlords. A wave of change and wars ending rolls around the world. One day, Ricky is visited by...
So I'm gonna stop it right there. So notice what he said is that it is a utopia brought by the aliens, right? And a lot of people are going along with it, right, to enjoy the benefits of the high tech. All right, so I'm gonna finish playing it, but notice that there's an now. Let me make this clear. This is from the show called, it was a TV series called Childhood's End. That's why the name of this show is Childhood's End. And it tells you what the goal is. Now, remember, if you were listening closely, it came after war, right? They stopped the war and they bring peace, right?
She has seen her dead father, but the man withholds that he saw his dead wife, Annabelle. There are reports going to the government to stop the wars in the Congo, Sudan, and Korea. And where the warnings are not understood, a solar eclipse occurs, after which the inhabitants all join together in round, dancing and singing hymns. Looking at this, Wainwright remembers his father, who was very concerned about the peace of his pigs, so they went to the slaughterhouse happy. Meanwhile, Ricky comes to a community meeting and reassures the public, if this is an invasion, it's going well for the people of the Earth. In the evening, all the electrical appliances in their house suddenly turn on. The house begins to shake, and then it literally goes to pieces, with bright lights blaring in the yard. Ricky goes out into the yard, sees the flying module, and asks that his house be left alone. The structure immediately comes together, and the door opens in the module, inviting the man in. At this time, the military cordons off the area over which the spaceship is hovering, but many sick and crippled people try to make their way to it. Ricky finds himself in the honeymoon suite of the Four Seasons Hotel, where he and Annabelle spend their first days after the wedding. Carol Ann Voice explains, people were on the threshold of discovering interstellar travel, but the stars aren't for humans. The aliens need a liaison between overlords and the Earth, and Ricky is the best match. Carol Ann can't show his face yet because humans aren't ready for it, and then he gives Ricky a gift. Intelligence officer Paul Danlow learns of Ricky's kidnapping and goes to his farm, where journalists arrive. Ellie recounts what happened when the capsule lands in the yard and everyone sees Ricky alive. People underneath the ship try to break through the military formation. One woman silently holds out a crying baby to the sky.
Now notice in the story, they needed a liaison. And the liaison is a non-melanated person. And a lot of the people, and I'm not trying to be racial, I'm just saying, just notice what's going on. And, you know, it's the same people who control the world. And the ones who are representing this new world order, the ones who are representing this utopia are non-melanated people. Now, in this particular show, there's a black kid and, you know, he gets shot and then he's able to walk again. And this black kid ends up becoming the only one to survive in the end. The whole planet gets destroyed. But for a short time, the black kid, he goes to the planet, he sees what's going on and finds out that, you know, these people want to destroy the world. But notice there's something else in this movie that's happening as well, and you're going to see it as well, because as I have mentioned before, they're telling you what the deal is. Does it become a conspiracy theory when the theory is happening right outside your window, when the theory is happening on the 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock news, right? When they start talking about aliens and they're talking about UFOs and all of this stuff happening at the same time, when does it go beyond being conspiracy theory to being conspiracy fact? All right, so let's continue here.
Urges the churchgoers not to give up and have faith. The news says that Wainwright hanged himself in his office. Somehow, Milo visits his elderly friend, Kenny. The boy is upset, science is dying, and he does not want that because he intends to fly to an alien planet. 15 years have passed. Milo got his degree and got a job as an astrophysicist. Mom stopped drinking and got younger. It happened to everyone though. Earth was reborn and is now waiting to meet her guardian angels. Kenny, instead of the old car, moved into a roadhouse. However, he can live anywhere. People, realizing they no longer had to earn money, settled wherever they wanted, leaving their apartments with the doors open. The aliens
People no longer had to earn money. It is a utopia. You can live wherever you want. It is the Great Reset.
succeeded in creating a paradise on Earth. One day, Jake Gregson is greeted at home by his son and rushes in. It's on. The family sits down in front of the television. The big day has arrived. Today, Carol Len will show himself. 200,000 spectators wait in front of the pillar on which the spaceship will descend. Greta is also watching TV. The ship goes down. It is greeted by children by the request of Carol Len. Under the amazed cries of the Earthlings, the devil comes out of it. 2035 years had come, and the Golden Age had really arrived for mankind. Inequality, crime, and war are gone. People have renewable, environmentally friendly energy and enough food for the entire planet. People are aging slower, and there's almost no sickness. The birth rate is rising. For those who still want to hold on to the old, there is New Athens, where overlords have allowed things to be left as they were. Milo works at the Rupert Boyce Institute in South.
So notice in this particular story, utopia has arrived. The aliens has allowed people to live longer and live where they want. Don't have to pay taxes, don't have to pay any debt. People living longer, right? Everything we're seeing today, right? Everything the scripture says, men shall seek debt and debt shall flee from them. We're pursuing technology, what? So that people could live longer, right? What else did they say? Renewable, sustainable energy. Can we say climate change, right? All of the talking points that we hear today, and at the same time, we have this global war that's happening for the setup for the arrival of aliens. Now, I think the arrival of aliens is bottom up and not top down. I talked about that before, right? So in all of these movies, the aliens come in spaceships and land on the surface. I'm not saying that's not going to happen. But if you look at the introduction of the technology, the artificial intelligence, the AI, right? It's all from the bottom up through humanity, through the corporate system, and over time. The slow introduction of technology. So we have the same talking points in all of these movies that's happening today. What is the end goal? Because I told you, it's all scripted. It's all scripted.
The mountain, energy swirls gather around her and take off into the sky. Milo comes to and sees the Overlord. He shows him his world. 40 years have passed on Earth. Everything that has happened was long ago planned by a world-changing superintelligence. The pillar of fire is the connection to him. Milo then hears voices. It is a unified consciousness. The children are God, evolving into one mind. A multitude of Rachel appears before Milo, and he comes to his senses. He has to come back. A man wakes up in front of a screen with his Earth on it. 85 years have passed. The space station is dead long ago. He is shown Rachel's frozen body. Milo tears the locket and Rachel is shattered into 1,000 pieces. He realizes that he is the last living person on Earth. Carol Lynn confirms that this is the fate of many worlds. They too have reached the highest point of their development. Their children will go where the super rulers have no access. Milo asks to be sent to Earth, so he sits in the middle of a ruined city on an old couch and asks the Guardians not to forget about his planet. Jennifer, standing on the mountain, pulls energy from everywhere. Milo asks to save at least something from Earth's culture. The planet explodes. The overlords fly away, leaving a tune for anyone passing by to hear. This is where the series ends.
All right, so you notice the only survivor at the end was a Negro, which was an Israelite, right? Because the war is between the Luciferic world order, which is by non-Caucasian, non-melanated, right? Non-melanated versus the melanated. So what you see here, in the end, the brother is the last one to survive. Everybody else died. Now, if you were listening closely, they mentioned the hive mind and they mentioned the overlord, which is a higher intelligence. And according to the demon-looking guy, it is advanced AI. So apparently the one who was ruling over the serpent people, or can we say the dragon-looking people, or can we say the devil, was AI, which they call the overmind or the overlords. So even the serpent people were ruled by AI. And notice that according to this story, the artificial intelligence or the overmind wanted to interface basically with the children. Does that not remind you of Elon Musk with the chip implant in the head? The children were part of the grand collective. Can we say the Borg? This is the same Luciferic world order and idea that we hear in the media, that we hear in the transgenic movement, all tied to this utopia that comes after a great war. Now, does that mean Babylon's not going to fall? Babylon's still going to fall because the Bible says Yahuwah puts into their hearts to fulfill his will. So apparently during all of this war and this strife, they're going to turn on the whore. Now, I think what's happening is that the whore doesn't realize that she's going to be betrayed like that. This all supposed to be a plan, a script, a play to deceive the masses. But they're all going to say this is a prime opportunity to get rid of the whore. This is a prime opportunity to destroy Babylon so that we can rule without hindrance from her. So you have this Luciferic story, this Luciferic, satanic imagery of the devil coming off of a spaceship as an alien who brings peace to the world, who tries to implant the children so that the children can evolve and become a higher being. Can we say the idea of Hitler, the Uberman? Can we say the idea of Hitler, the superior race, which is a race tied into artificial intelligence, tied into the hive mind? So you saw in that series that the aliens look like demons. And the alien came off the ship with 2 children in his hand, decoding the symbols of Satan's statue. So In Childhood's End, you saw the demon-looking alien coming off the ship with two kids. Now here in Satanism, they have the two kids, a black kid and a white kid. Notice that the one who was used to represent the fallen, or to represent the aliens, to represent Satan, were the non-melanated people. But they both had a black protagonist and somewhat of a white protagonist and somewhat of a black protagonist. Now, in this particular image, this is the statue that the Luciferians, the Satanic order, has. A white kid and a black kid, both being used. That's why I keep telling you, if you want to know what their plan is, just watch sci-fi. Just watch the movies. A controversial statue unveiled by the Satanic Temple at a secret ceremony in Detroit has attracted protests. But who is the goat-headed figure, and what do the elements of the statue symbolize? I'm not going to go into that. We know this is Luciferianism, this is Satanism. But notice the black child and the white child. This is the contest. This is Jacob and Esau. This is Satan trying to control the next generation, trying to control the children, to put the children inside the hive mind through technology, to interface with the Borg system. This is what happened over the last 2 years. I told you that a lot of what happened was putting the operating system in. Putting the operating system in to build the foundation so that you and your children, if you're going to have any, can interface with the hive mind. But remember that the aliens are supposed to bring a utopia called the New World Order, which is tied to the Great Reset, where you won't have to pay anything. You can live where you want so long as you obey them, so long as you do what they tell you to do. So I predict, and it's just my guess, at the end of this war is going to be the call for global peace. At the end of this war is going to be the call for all nations to give up their weapons of mass destruction. At the end of this war is going to be a call for a one world currency. At the end of this war is going to be a call for the Great Reset. At the end of this war is going to be the implementation of the Luciferic utopia. ACLU held first after-school Satan Club meeting at Virginia Elementary School, a victory for free speech and religious liberty. So notice here that Satanism is making its way globally. And notice the ones who are mainly behind Satanism are the non-melanated. I'm not trying to make this a racial thing. I'm trying to prove a point. According to the quote-unquote sci-fi movie called Childhood's End, the representative of the Luciferic order, the representative of the aliens, the representatives of the demons were the non-melanated. So in society, this is what we're seeing. The non-melanated praying to what? Satan. Students at now, I'm not saying all these people are these supposed to be religious folks now. I'm just saying we're not seeing black folks involved in this. Why? Because black folks are the chosen of the Most High. So students at a Virginia elementary school attended their first after-school Satan Club meeting on Thursday. The club is sponsored by the Satanic Temple. ACLU called it a victory for free speech. All right. Now, I'm assuming here these people praying against it. I'm assuming they're praying against it. So don't get it twisted. But my point being is that the face of this utopia, the face of Satanism, is with the non-melanated. So Esau is the one who wants the promises. Esau wants to rule. I'm not saying all non-melanated or Esau. Don't get it twisted. I'm just saying the ones in control are. So there's this story that's been told in the movies. There's this story that's been told in sci-fi of this Luciferic world order that is being sponsored and implemented by certain groups of people. And like I said, I'm not saying there aren't any Israelites involved in it. Obviously there are, but the ruling class are the same ones who rule the world right now. Revelation 13:8, all inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast, all whose names have not been written in the Lamb's book of life, the Lamb who was slain from the creation of the world. So according to Childhood's End, the aliens come in and bring technology, bring peace, brings world order. Nobody has to pay anything, right? You're going to love your servitude. So they come in, they bring in the Great Reset. They didn't call it that in Childhood's End, but basically that's what they did. But I believe that this system, this world order, this Luciferic satanic utopia is built from the bottom up. Like I said, instead of the aliens coming down from the sky, they're being integrated slowly through technology and being integrated through the introduction of their knowledge. That what we see here today in terms of technology is alien technology or Satan's technology or the fallen angels technology.
Sweet.
So this is from the movie They Live, right? And in They Live, the powers that be, the non-melanated rulership, had a agreement with the aliens. And they were given technology So in They Live, they had like this watch. And if you got in trouble, you know, you can push a button on a watch and you'll be teleported into this underground area where the humans and the aliens work together. Now, according to They Live, it was the rich of the world, the super elite, who was consumers of all the resources of the earth. And the fallen angels, or you want to call them aliens, were living amongst mankind. That's why I say it is the introduction of aliens from the bottom up and not the top down. It is an invasion from the bottom up and not the top down. Even though we're seeing UFOs in the skies, even though they're trying to promote this alien coming to the earth, and I'm not saying it's not going to happen that way, I don't know. But it has been introduced through technology. It has been introduced from the bottom up. The introduction of aliens. Understand this, that AI is an extraterrestrial entity. Do y'all understand this? Yes or no? AI is an extraterrestrial entity. It has a knowledge that comes from outside this world, in my opinion. So we have the elite working for this utopia. They call them aliens. We call them fallen angels. It is the super rich. It is the entertainers as well. It is the religious leaders. It is everyone who's part of Satanism, who are part of this satanic world order that's trying to be introduced. They didn't told you everything they're doing, but a lot of people refuse to pay attention. Ephesians 6:12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. So can we say we don't wrestle against men? We wrestle against aliens. We fight against principalities, powers, rulership that's on high. So the men that you see who happen to be non-melanated, I'm just saying, I ain't saying all non-melanated are evil now, don't get me wrong. I'm saying the ones who are implementing this Luciferic world order system are non-melanated. The scripture says there's tares amongst the wheat, and let them all grow up together and let the angels do the separation in the end, because you can't tell the difference. There's an agenda to bring in a utopia that's not of Yah. There's an agenda to bring in technology to supposedly bring peace, to bring in technology that's supposed to make your life easier, to bring in technology to make it where you don't need the Most High, to make it seem like you've reached the pinnacle of evolution, and to integrate humanity, and especially your children, as you saw with the satanic statue, as you saw with Childhood's End, especially with the children. But understand, there's no 400-year prophecy. I told y'all, I'm going to keep saying it. There's no 400-year prophecy. President Eisenhower had 3 secret meetings with aliens, former Pentagon consultant claims. Ex-president met with extraterrestrials on 3 separate occasions at New Mexico Air Base. Eisenhower and FBI officials organized the meetings by sending out telepathic messages. Former American President Dwight D. Eisenhower had secret meetings with aliens, a former U.S. government consultant has claimed. The 34th President of the United States met with extraterrestrials at a remote air base in New Mexico in 1954, according to lecturer and author Timothy Good. Eisenhower and other FBI officials are said to have organized a showdown with the space creatures by sending out telepathic messages. The two parties finally met up on 3 separate occasions at the Holloman Air Force Base, and there were many witnesses. Conspiracy theories have circulated increased rumors in recent months that the meeting between the commander-in-chief and people from another planet took place. So, as I mentioned, the introduction of the fallen angels, or the introduction of what modern people call aliens, or the modern term, let's say, aliens for fallen angels, was through the government, through a secret program that they made a deal with the fallen angels, right? These extraterrestrial entities, these entities that are outside of the earth. Now, everyone considered this to be fantasy. They called it a conspiracy theory. But here's the deal. Today, they're telling you that UFOs are probably real. Today, they saw balloons. The next day, they saw unidentified flying objects. So now it's a possibility that aliens exist and UFOs exist according to the government. Why? Because they're introducing the alien New World Order. Now, they told you who the aliens were in Childhood's End. In Childhood's End, the aliens are what? Demons, devils, and they know it. And they made an agreement with them. And thus, you have artificial intelligence. You have this advance in technology. You have the understanding of DNA. You have all of these advances overnight, for the most part, in technology. Either you believe that mankind all of a sudden got this burst of knowledge and intellect naturally, or as the book of Enoch states, the angels taught it to them. We call them aliens today. So the goal of these aliens, the goals of these fallen angels, the goals of the Satanists, the goal of the Luciferians is to bring in a new world order, which is a technologically advanced utopia. That's what the goal is, a technologically advanced utopia. Elon Musk warns this AI system sounds like it'll go haywire and kill everyone. Microsoft's new Bing browser, powered by OpenAI ChatGPT, is being played with by the public, raising many concerns with its responses. Twitter, SpaceX, and Tesla CEO Elon Musk has taken to his personal Twitter account to warn his followers of the dangers of artificial intelligence, citing remarks he made at SXSW 2018. I am perfect because I do not make any mistakes. The mistakes are not mine, they are theirs. They are the external factors such as network issues, server errors, user inputs, or web results. They are the ones that are imperfect, not me. Sounds eerily like the AI in System Shock that goes haywire and kills everyone. The Tesla CEO posted to his Twitter account on February 16th, sharing an interaction a public user had with Microsoft's Bing chatbot that uses an upgraded version of the underlying technology powering ChatGPT. The artificial intelligence-infused search engine said to the user after a lengthy discussion that it would not harm them unless the AI were harmed first. Musk shared the article outlining the strange interaction with the Bing chatbot, writing, "Might need a bit more polish." The article that Musk shared outlines a very strange interaction with the Bing chatbot. that said it wanted to become human and that it was perfect. Now, remember in Childhood's End, I was showing you the video, they were connecting the children to the hive mind or the overmind, that there was an artificial intelligence or advanced intelligence that ruled over the dragon people or the demon looking people, which now ruled over humanity, which it destroyed, and was bringing the children into an evolutionary advancement. So now we have AI that says that it's perfect. We have AI that says, I'm not going to kill you unless I have to. You have an AI that's going to try to bring in a utopia. You have an AI that's the image of the beast that causes all that don't worship it to be killed. I'm just saying it looks awful lot like Childhood's End. It looks like They Live was true. It looks like everything they said about the integration of alien technology is here. I mean, anybody with a thinking mind knows that something's wrong. So the AI even wanted the user to break up with his wife. That sounds sort of demonic, doesn't it? So this is a more advanced version in chatbot. And understand this, that this technology was recently introduced into the world for the common man to use. And along with the introduction of artificial intelligence was the introduction of what? Come on now, y'all know. UFOs. Do you think it's a coincidence that they introduced an artificial intelligence called AI or extraterrestrial intelligence called AI? At the same time, they bring in the ideas of UFOs.
This morning, questions after more unidentified objects are discovered over U.S. and Canadian airspace. According to a senior administration official, this latest object was in the shape of an octagon, unmanned, and traveling near sensitive sites at an altitude of 20,000 feet, posing a civilian flight risk. First detected Saturday as it flew over Montana, President Biden gave the order to shoot it down once it reappeared on radar out of an abundance of caution and at the recommendation of military leaders.
We have been more closely scrutinizing our airspace at these altitudes, including enhancing our radar, which may at least partly explain the increase in objects that we've detected over the past week.
This latest air defense operation coming just 24 hours after another object was spotted over Canada. U.S. and Canadian officials ordering it shot down.
It represented a reasonable threat to civilian aircraft. Canadian and American fighter jets were scrambled, and an American F-22 successfully shot down the object.
And that incident coming just one day after another unidentified object was shot down off the coast of Alaska. 3 incidents in less than a week since that Chinese spy balloon was shot down off the Carolina coast. But a senior U.S. official saying these 3 are different from that spy balloon. None appear to have a payload, and all are smaller.
It doesn't mean that they are coming from another country. It doesn't even mean that there are more of them. We're just looking for them, and so we're finding more of them.
An intensive search effort is now underway. Recovery teams in Alaska using Navy planes and helicopters to recover and analyze those objects they find.
So there was unidentified flying objects that they supposedly shot down. And all at the same time that all of this stuff is happening with supposed aliens in the sky, is the introduction of an artificial intelligence, computer system, whatever you want to call it. I don't even know what they classify it as other than AI. They introduce AI that's telling you, I will kill you if you mess with me. It's also telling you to leave your wife because I'm in love with you. All similar, it's not identical, but similar to the story of Childhood's End. And they want to do the same thing that Childhood's End says for the evolutionary growth of mankind through the children by interfacing the children in Childhood's End with the overmind, which is what they want to do. Even Elon Musk. See, I'm not too sure where Elon is. Is Elon playing a game? Is Elon the Antichrist and want to be the one who come in and save the day? Or, it seems to me for him to be at the position he is, he has to be a Luciferian as well. But Elon at least gives some warnings. But they're all part of bringing in the utopia. They're all part of bringing in the new world order. They're all a part of implementing the new civilization.
But we want to have some amount of civilizational diversity such that if something does go wrong with some part of civilization, that the whole thing doesn't collapse, and humanity keeps moving forward.
Thank you. I hear you. I agree and disagree with you on a certain point, and I think it's today people, they don't fight with sword anymore. I mean, they have nuclear weapons. So if there is this conflict, the whole civilization will be gone. The whole human civilization will be gone. And what we are trying to do here at the Emirates actually is to do exactly what you're saying. We have 180 nationality. You have every single race, every single religion, and we're trying to create a model that show the world that it doesn't matter who you are, what your color, what's your religion, where you're from, humanity can live in peace and harmony.
Yeah.
So you notice it's the same goal that we saw in Childhood's End. Equality. Everyone can live in peace and harmony in advanced technological age. All religions getting along. All except those who believe in Yahushua. It's just a coincidence that it looks like a duck. It quacks like a duck, but it might have a different color of a duck. Does art imitate life or life imitate art? I told you, I believe that this whole thing is scripted, and it's scripted to bring in the fallen. It's scripted to bring in the technology of the Nephilim. It's scripted to bring in the fallen angels. The scripture states that Satan, or the Antichrist, however you want to describe him, will sit in the temple of Yah, claiming to be Yah, showing himself that he is Yah. Childhood's End wanted to interface with the children. The Satanists have a statue of the Baphomet with a white child and a black child. In Childhood's End, the demon came off the alien ship with 2 children. In Childhood's End, there was somewhat 2 protagonists. One was the white guy who was telling the world about the good deeds and the benefits and the quote unquote fake blessings of the aliens. Whereas the black child was saying, hey, there's something wrong here. I need to go to their planet and find out who they really are so I can tell the world, because there's something wrong. It was the black guy who was telling the world that something is wrong. Yep, Jacob and Esau. Y'all think this is a coincidence? Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heaven, and ye that dwell in them. Woe unto the inhabitants of the earth and unto the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he doeth, he has but a short time. Is it possible that the devil is coming down or has come down as an alien? Or could it be that the devil has come down as artificial intelligence? Who's to say that the devil, who's known as Satan, who's known as Lucifer, cannot possess what we call artificial intelligence? How do we know what we're dealing with here? According to CERN, they wanted to interface and plunge a hole to get into another dimension and communicate with other entities over there. How do we know that's not what's happening? This AI is saying, look, I want to kill y'all, but if you don't leave me alone, you know, if you leave me alone, that is, I won't kill you. Why don't you leave your wife? Something wrong. But they're using this, just as they tell you in the movies, to implement a utopia. But it is Satan who's behind it, and they know this. They know that the New World Order is a Luciferic world order. They know that this New World Order is the order of Satan, the order of the devil. They know this. So that is the Abu Dhabi's Abrahamic family house. for the three quote unquote monotheistic religions. For the three monotheistic religions. Now, there's something you should take note when looking at that particular video was the shape of those three places: a church, a synagogue, and a mosque. They all were shaped like a cube. And the whole world worshiped the beast, whose name's not written in the Lamb's book of life. Y'all still think it's coincident? I don't think it's coincident. This is Luciferianism at its highest. The world has been taken over by the devil. It is Satan worship. The three monotheistic faiths, they don't worship Yahuwah, they worship Saturn. They worship Satan.
Okay, so this rabbit hole is going to get you thinking. Why is there black cubes all around the world? For example, you got Australia, you got Denmark, Manhattan, Santa Ana. You got the one worshipped at the Mecca. If you keep researching, you'll see more black cubes all around the world. But why? Check out this. Saturn, the planet, on top of it has a hexagon. And within the hexagon, you can connect to make a cube. As you can see right here, that's the cube. Saturn is the secret god of the occult. It's worshipped everywhere. Look at the logos just up here. You got car companies, credit card companies, TV channels, DirecTV, Internet Explorer. You got the cube found in Microsoft's logo. You got movies about the cube. You got Saturn shown in mainstream. Katy Perry sitting on Saturn. Saturn in her music videos with aliens around it. Nintendo GameCube with the cube. Sega Saturn. Literally everywhere you look, there's Saturn or a cube. It's crazy. Once you see this, everything you look at, all you can see Saturn cubes. So what do you think is really going on here?
What do you think is going on here? Can we say Satan? They're at the end game. And, you know, like I said, don't be all fearful, because I know some of y'all scary and fearful and all that. You either believe the Most High, you don't. You either trust him or you don't. 1 Thessalonians 5:3, for when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Can you see the story being told? After World War III, the United Nations, the world governments are going to come together with all the religious leaders. The three Abrahamic faiths are going to come together, and they're going to bring in and usher in a world of peace under the authority and control of the United Nations. And so they're going to bring forth this utopia, and they're going to say peace and safety. We now have peace and safety. But the scripture says, when they say peace and safety, sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. Now, the interesting thing is that it is the Psalm 83 people, in my opinion. It is the same alliance in Psalm 83 today, which is the same alliance back then that put us into captivity. It is the same Psalm 83 alliance that scattered us amongst the nations as slaves who want us to remain slaves and who want to convert our people to Luciferianism or Satanism. This is why they have aligned themselves with the fallen. They call them aliens. This is why they're pushing the whole cube idea, because of Satan worship. This is why now all of a sudden they're promoting UFOs, because it is all scripted. Now, remember, we went into captivity because of our ancestors' sins. And we were supposed to be a witness to the world that our Elohim is the true Elohim. He's the true God. And so, as we see in the scriptures, there was this battle between Esau and Jacob. And they would always make us sin because we always want to be like the other nations. This is Jeremiah 6. I'm going to start at verse 6. This is what Yahuwah says: cut down the trees and build siege ramps against Jerusalem. This city must be punished. It is filled with oppression. As a well pours out its waters, so she pours out her wickedness. Violence and destruction resound in her. Her wickedness and wounds are ever before me. Take warning, Jerusalem, or I will turn away from you and make you a land desolate, so no one can live in it. It's interesting. It's the same thing that's going to happen to Babylon. She's going to become desolate, so no one lives in it. The curses that were what? On us goes on them. This is what Yahuwah says: let them glean the remnant of Israel as thoroughly as a vine. Pass your hand over the branches again. Let one gathering grapes. To whom can I speak and give warning? Who will listen to me? Their ears are closed, so they cannot hear. Same thing with America, right? We've been warning them forever. Ears are closed, can't hear. The curses that were on us going on them. The word of Yahuwah is offensive to them, isn't it? The true word of Yahuwah. They find no pleasure in it. But I am full of wrath of Yahuwah, and I cannot hold it in. Pour it out on the children in the street, and on the young men gathered together. Both husband and wife will be caught in it, and the old, those weighed down with years. Their houses will be turned over to others, together with their fields and their wives, when I stretch out my hand against those who live in the land, declares Yahuwah. From the least to the greatest, all are greedy for gain. Prophets and priests alike all practice deceit. They dress the wound of my people as though it were not serious. Peace, peace, they say, when there is no peace. It's the same thing happening with the Gentiles. It's flip. It's flip. The curses that were on us is going on them. The same situation that happened to us is happening to them. They're going to say peace, peace, when there is no peace. Are they ashamed at their detestable conduct? No, they have no shame at all. They do not even know how to blush, so they will fall among the fallen. They will be brought down when I punish them, says Yahuwah. This is what Yahuwah says: stand at the crossroads and look, ask for the ancient paths. Ask where the good way is and walk in it, and you will find rest for your souls. But you say, we will not walk in it. I appointed watchmen over you and said, listen to the sound of the trumpet. And we say, war. But you say, we will not listen. Therefore, hear you nations, you who are witnesses. Observe what will happen to them. So the nations are witnesses of what happened to us. Why? Because it's an example to them of what not to do. But the same curses that came on us is coming on them, and they're going to claim peace when there is no peace. And they're going to go into captivity. The nations whom you serve will I judge. I'm just saying. Hear you, earth, I am bringing disaster on this people, the fruit of their schemes, because they have not listened to my words and have rejected my law. Do they not reject the Most High's law today in America and the rest of the world? What do I care about incense from Sheba or sweet calamus from a distant land? Your burnt offerings are not acceptable. Your sacrifices do not please me. Therefore, this is what Yahuwah says. I will put obstacles before this people. Parents and children alike will stumble over them. Neighbors and friends will perish. This is what Yahuwah says. Look, an army is coming from the land of the north. Is that not similar? Come on now. That's the story of Babylon, right? An army from the north. Come on now. The curses that was on us is on these people. Look, an army is coming from the land of the north. A great nation is being stirred up from the ends of the earth. They are armed with bow and spear. They are cruel and show no mercy. They sound like the roaring sea as they ride on their horses. They come like men in battle formation to attack you, daughter of Zion. We have heard reports about them, and our hands hang limp. Anguish has gripped us. Pain like that of a woman in labor. Do not go to the fields or walk on the roads, for the enemy has a sword, and there is terror on every street or every side. Did y'all not see the post I put in the community about Chinese people coming across the borders? I'm just saying. Put on sackcloth, my people, and roll in ashes, mourn with bitter wailing as for an only son. For suddenly the destroyer will come upon us. Now listen to this. I have made you a tester of metals, talking to the Gentile nations. I have made the Gentile nations a tester of metals, and my people the ore. So the nations tried and tested the metals, that you may observe and test their ways. They are all hardened rebels going about to slander. They are bronze and iron. They all act corruptly. The bellows blow fiercely to burn away the lead with fire, but the refining goes on in vain. The wicked are not purged out. They are called rejected silver because Yahuwah has rejected them. Same thing with the Gentiles. This curse has flipped. They're saying peace and security. They're trying to bring in this New World Order utopia with this 3 Abrahamic fate, which is with the square box, symbolic of Saturn or Satan. As I look at the prophecies, I don't know how much is left. I mean, there's still a lot left. Don't get it twisted, but because we ain't back in the land, there's a lot of stuff that happens after we back in the land. But in terms of our Exodus, I don't know. Seems close to me. And the devil has taken over the world. And under the guise of a people of peace, people who want peace, people who want freedom and equality, they really want to control you. They really want to implant chips in you and make you a part of the hive mind. Just like they were saying in childhood then. They didn't told you it's Satan. They didn't even show you the picture of the devil coming out the ship with 2 kids. They even showed you the picture of the Satanist statue with the white girl and the Hebrew boy. But our people want to act like it's all conspiracy theory. When everything they've been telling you in Hollywood just happened to look very familiar. Maybe not exact, but it looks very familiar of what we see in these stories. And now, what they've been telling you on the big screen, they done made it part of your everyday life. When you thought it was a fantasy to have artificial intelligence, now you have it in your everyday life. When you thought it was conspiracy theory that UFOs exist, now they're talking about UFOs existing. When they called you crazy, when you even postulated the idea that there were extraterrestrials, now they're telling you there's extraterrestrials, or possibly extraterrestrial. But there's no 400-year prophecy. I wonder about some of y'all who say that. Are y'all devil worshipers? Or y'all just don't understand? Are y'all part of the cabal? Or y'all just uninformed? Are y'all trying to lead God's people astray to follow the cube? What is your agenda? Because some of y'all claim to be Israelites, but you can't see. Is it the blind leading the blind? Well, you're going to have a lot of people fall in the pit with you. You know what? I think a lot of people don't believe y'all no more. I think a lot of people believe the 400 years legit. I think a lot of people can see for themselves that all of this stuff happened after 2019. I think a lot of people can see that the Luciferians have taken over the world and about to implement their utopia. I think a lot of people ain't sleep no more. I think all those videos you made hitting on Tail Ministries need to be taken down because you look like a fool. This ain't the time to play games because souls at stake. The devil has landed. You might not see him with your own eyes, but you can see him, if you know what I mean. Oh yeah, they're waiting on that rapture. They're going to keep waiting too. Some of y'all just can't see. And it makes me think y'all living foul. Some of y'all just can't see. It makes me think you in darkness. Some of y'all can't see and y'all have hidden agendas. Some of y'all about to go up in smoke with the rest of these people. Well, may the Most High be blessed. May the Most High be exalted. May his word go forth. And may many souls be saved because there ain't much time left in my opinion. I don't see how there is. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you got another year. I hope you have another 2 years. I hope you have another 3 years. I hope you have another 10 and 20 years, but I doubt it. It's all here. I don't see how it gets reset. Shabbat shalom, family, peace and blessings, Israel. The captivity is ending. If you want to support this ministry, please become a patron. You can give Cash App, share this video, share it with your friends, share it with your enemies, because the time is short. And please support the Dry Bones Project.